Hi and welcome to the Property Pod. Today I'm joined by Mark from Utility Warehouse. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. It's great to have you on. And we're going to be talking about how to organise your utilities and just sort of the fundamentals of what you should do and the basics of that. So welcome to the podcast, Mark. It's great to have you on.
Thank you for inviting me. Yeah,
fab.
Great.
So tell us a bit about Utility Warehouse then.
Probably the easiest way to describe Utility Warehouse is that it's a multi-utility company, so they are suppliers. Mm-hmm. So what I say to people is that if you were to think of British Gas and E.ON and BT and Vodafone and Direct Line Insurance and made those all into one company, that's who we are. So we provide all the services. We're based down in London, been going for 25 years. We're a £1 billion FTSE 250 company.
Very cool.
And one of the unique benefits of us is that we can put all the services onto one bill for our customers. So it makes it nice and easy rather than having lots of separate bills all the time.
Yeah.
They can have one nice, easy, simple bill.
Oh, very nice.
We're also a very green company, so we can provide renewable energy. And also every year for all our new customers, we plant a new tree in the UK. So last year we planted 100,000 trees.
That's so cool. Yeah.
So we are creating new woodlands in the UK every year for all of our
That's amazing.
customers.
Yeah, that's so good. I mean, I've never really come across such an eco-friendly green business in my personal experience. Like you guys that you're doing that, it's amazing for the environment and for like communities and stuff. It's so great.
Yes,
especially with the crisis right now with all that, and it's just really amazing stuff.
That's right. Yes.
Fab. And for the moving process then for you guys, what sort of point do you think first time buyers should sort of start thinking about their utilities?
I think the first thing is once you've sort of got a house and you put an offer in there, the thing to do is to get a quote. So you've just got a rough idea what the cost of utilities is going to be. One of the other things you can have a look at is to see where the fibre broadband is going to be available to the property, because that's been rolled out right across the country there. So a lot of people that have got the sort of old copper system, if you like, there. So if that's available, of course, that could be upgraded to property. In terms of utilities, really you can't sort of sign up until you've completed on the house, because then you own the house. So you could set up the utilities before you own the house, but it's worth getting things in place ready to get it all done.
Okay, great. And if you move to a property with an oil tank in, can you switch to gas, and how is that sort of done?
If there is gas available to the property, so if historically there's been a gas pipe put in the road and you've got a pipe that comes up to, because sometimes with properties they have had gas. I've come across one just a couple of weeks ago where there is the gas into the property, but it's been disconnected.
Oh gosh!
For whatever reason, they took the gas meter out, and the property now all electric. But all the other houses in the cul-de-sac have got gas to them. But if you haven't got gas, then it's very difficult. If it's not available in the road, then you couldn't do it, so you'd have to stick with oil. But one of the things is, if you're moving into particularly rural property, because obviously gas is primarily in the towns, whereas a lot of people around here are living outside in more rural areas where you've got an oil tank. The most important thing to do if you are going to buy a property is to check the level of the oil. Because you might move into a property and then you find you've got no oil, and particularly this time of year you go to switch your heating on and you've got no heating. Now the thing to do with that is to get a piece of string and a ladder and a torch.
Wow, that sounds very interesting. I'm intrigued about this.
Highly technical stuff.
String.
Because when you look at an oil tank, and again I had one just recently, it's normally got a sight glass on the outside so you can see the level of the oil, but they don't always tell you accurately. They don't always work. But I looked at this tank and the sight glass said it had a half full tank of oil, but we couldn't get the boiler started, so when I actually looked inside, it was completely empty. So you just take the top off, put a torch down with a piece of string, you drop the string down until it touches the oil, take the string out, put it on the outside of the tank, and then you can see where the level of the oil is.
Wow, how clever. I'd never even think to do that.
That's it.
Very
that's how
interesting.
it is there as well. Yes, and the thing is with oil, you want to check your oil tanks and fill them up in the summer if you can, because it's cheaper and quicker. This time of year, everyone's going to start switching on their heating, so if your oil tank is empty, you might not be able to get oil for a week or so. So because everyone can be really busy.
Got to think about that. Yeah, nightmare.
So check your oil tank regularly. Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. And what do you need to consider if your property isn't connected to mains drainage?
Again, quite a common instance around here in the rural areas where there's not a lot of mains drains. So most of them are going to be on septic tanks. So these are big tanks in the ground. They could have been sort of big square concrete ones, or if they're modern ones, they're made of fiberglass, 6 foot across, like a big onion. And there's some that's what they're like, really. If you can imagine a sort of big onion with a tube coming out, and they're sunk about 6 feet down into 6 8 feet down into the ground. The thing to do is with those, have them just emptied and inspected. But the most common problem with septic tanks is that the overflows get blocked, particularly if you've got trees nearby and you've got an overflow pipe that would run under your garden into finger drains, and the excess water flows off into there. And of course, if you've got a tree nearby, go, oh, here's water, lovely, fantastic. I'll grow all my roots into the pipes.
Oh, wow.
And they get blocked. So
I wouldn't even think about that as a thing that they can do. Trees are so clever.
Oh, they are. And willows.
Wow.
Willows are the worst ones, because of course
Really?
willows love water.
Yeah.
So if you've got willow trees next to your house, if you've got them really close, I would advise removing them.
Cut it away.
Get them
else.
removed. That's right. Because people put them in as a little sapling. Oh, that's very nice. It grows bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and the roots spread and spread.
Oh my goodness.
But to check the drains, just get a drain inspection company. They'll come out with a camera on a cable, and they'll just run it down, and then they can inspect the drains for you. But that's the thing when you're buying a house there with the in the rural area with the septic tank, it's the overflow which is usually the point that needs checking. Yeah.
And would a payment meter affect the sale of a property? And can it be replaced with a regular meter? Do you know?
Prepayment meters are quite common in small rental properties. That's where they've been put in there in the past. Does it affect? It might. I don't know if it really affect the price. If you're selling a house, if you're buying it, the price very much there, because it's very easy to change the meter. Utility Warehouse, we're putting in smart meters for all our customers, so we could put in a smart meter.
Very cool.
We put them in for free, and actually we give our customers £50 back for installing a smart meter into the house.
That's very nice.
The great thing about the smart meters, of course, they're consistently sending the readings, so you get billed accurately, as opposed to in the past where the meters may have not been read for quite some time, so you might have used more or less than what you're estimated in, and then suddenly you get a great big bill or a big credit there. So smart meters are the way to go for accurate billing. Yeah.
Okay, great. And on that note, what do you think people can do to make their home more energy efficient?
Well, that's a very
broad question.
Very topical at the moment, of course, because we've got the climate change conference going on at the moment. So there's a few very simple things to do. The most probably first thing is to check the amount of insulation in your loft, because what you're trying to do is to warm your homes. We want to warm our homes, and we don't want the heat to escape. So, and likewise, we don't want the cold air to come in. So have a look at the insulation in your loft. Even if your house is maybe 20 or 30 years old, it may not have enough insulation. So you really want about 300 millimetres, about 12 inches of fiberglass insulation. You can go and buy those locally quite easily in B&Q and Wicks and places like that. And you can install them yourself, so you just roll it out in your loft, so you get lots of insulation into the loft. That's the main thing. The other thing is as well is to check for drafts, so you've got cold air that's coming in. Check the rubber seals around the doors, around the windows, because what you don't want to do is when it's cold and you've got cold wind, you don't want the wind blowing, and of course that's blowing, and you can often hear that. You can hear it whistling through, and that's where the seal is not very. So you can get the seals replaced on doors and windows. Another little simple thing is just make sure you've got a draft excluder at the back of your letterbox, because of course you've got a great big hole in your front door which can let sort of cold air in, so make sure you've just got some sort of draft protection behind there. I think that's the main thing. If you've got an older house, again, quite relevant for around here because there's a lot of older properties in the area. Some of those, again, the windows might be old and not sort of fitting very well, so you're looking for drafts around there. If they're listed, and they might have single glazed and you can only keep single glazed, so you might think about putting secondary glazed windows on the inside there as well. That would help. And also with an older property, of course, a lot of them had open fires and chimneys, so if you're not using the open fire, block up the chimney. Again, you've got a great big hole in your living room that's sucking the hot air, and it's sucking it up and out the chimney as well. So I think it's simple things. One of the easy thing to do is, come the winter time when the weather's colder and you've got the wind blowing, just go round your house and just put your hand up against the windows and the doors, and you can feel if there's a draft coming in. And then it usually can be one of the rubber seals that's gone, and then you can just replace those.
Okay, that's handy.
So so you want to stop the hot air going out, and you want to stop the cold air.
I wouldn't even think about that. That's really interesting. Yeah. And with fireplaces and chimneys and all that sort of stuff, how would you actually go about blocking that up, do you think? Because I know that sounds like a really good idea, but how would you practically do that, do you think? Sort of. Would it be like a board or?
Yeah, all you need is just a board that you can push up into the chimney there. So a wooden board or sort of piece of metal or anything like that's just going to go up in there. Maybe just put a couple of nails, a couple of brackets in there.
Yeah.
So something like that. You can put some insulation again, just to sort of stop the because what happens is that the wind goes across the top of your chimney and it's sucking the air up the chimney, so it's sucking the warm air out of your living room and up there. So if you can put a seal around, a better seal around, of course if you're using the open fire, then you won't have that. But if you've got an open chimney there that you don't use the fire, then just block it up.
And what can people do to make their home environmentally friendly?
That's a very good question, and I think again, everyone's very, very conscious of making the homes a lot more friendly these days. The easiest one: put on an extra jumper and turn the thermostat down.
Stop saying so.
I think that's the thing. I don't know. We just sort of.
I feel like everyone's very used to like long baths and like very hot sort of living rooms, and it's just like actually that's what my dad does anyway. He's always like, put 5 layers on. What are you doing in your
years ago we used to, but now we want to live in our homes and we want them to be tropical inside. So we want to walk around in our homes in our
flip-flops
flip-flops and shorts and Hawaiian shirts So that's most probably the easiest thing. Just turn your thermostat down a little bit more. Think about maybe how efficient your appliances are. So if you're thinking of changing them again, sort of fridges and freezers and washing machines, dishwashers, obviously. All the time there's more energy efficient ones coming along, so if you're thinking of those, look at the most energy efficient ones. You can have LED light bulbs, a great one, because again very, very low usage for electricity on those, and then just sort of simple things, because we have lots of stuff that we plug in these days, don't we? We've got lots of
extension leads galore.
Whatever.
In my house anyway, it's very bad. I need to stop that.
But of course we have a lot of things on standby, so they don't need to be on standby. I mean, if they're on standby, they're still running, they've still got little lights things like that.
And so even just switching off the on switch, I suppose, would make a little bit of a difference rather than having
it's all little small things, but
just the details
sort of adds up at the end of the day.
Okay, great. And what are the pros and cons for using a bigger or smaller service provider, do you think? It's a bit biased actually.
We've just seen that, I think, over the last few weeks and couple of months there was as well, is in the energy market. About 18 months ago, there was about, I think, 40 odd providers, 45 providers, a lot of very small providers in the market. And of course, when they come in the market, they sell energy very, very cheap because they want to attract lots of customers. So of course, most people go on to a site comparison site, have a look on there, and they'll see the cheapest. I've never heard of that company, but they are the cheapest, and they go for that. And then of course, energy prices gone up. So of course, the companies are selling below what they're paying it for, so they're making a loss. So this is why they're all these little small companies are going bust all the time. There's still going to be more. I think it was 2 last week. There's still going to be more and more.
Gosh,
So I think, maybe sort of next year we might end up with about sort of maybe 15 providers, 20 providers. So half the providers would have sort of disappeared there. Utility Warehouse is the 9th biggest provider. So we have the big 6. So we're just underneath the big 6 there. We always provide. We are the 3rd cheapest provider, and we are under the price cap. Because for people aware that all these companies are now charging above the price cap, we are under the price cap. The reason why that we can provide energy so much cheaper is that we have other services. So we make profit on our mobile phones, on our broadband and telephone insurance and everything like that. So we're not a single provider. So that way we can actually reduce the price right across the board on all of our services. Which helps helps areas as well. And we've been around 25 years, and we're going to be around at least for the next 25 years as well.
Yeah, very cool. And as a property developer yourself and a housing developer yourself, have you noticed any trends due to COVID-19, the pandemic? Anything emerging there for you?
Yes, movement. People are moving around there. So I think what's happened in the pandemic, because a lot of people are working from home now.
Yeah.
And this is a big thing where people are working from home. So what has happened is that I've seen quite a bit of a shift where people think, hang on a minute, I don't need to be living where I need to live. I can now move somewhere else and still work from home.
Yeah.
So in this area, we've seen a lot of movement from people in sort of South Essex and Hertfordshire now coming up into the area, into Suffolk and into Norfolk, because they think, well, I don't need to live in such a busy urbanised area. I can move to a rural area, I can work from home, and if I need to commute, I can go 1 day a week or something like that. Obviously, excellent train service. So yes, there's a lot of people moving into the area from around, most probably sort of around the edge of the M25, just inside the M25. I think also as well, because then you've got maybe a better quality of living, because you're in a rural area, you're out into the woods and the fields and everything. We're by the coast, so we've got the benefit of that.
We've got everything.
That's right.
So good,
it is. Yeah, I think Suffolk's the driest county in the country. I think it is.
I was surprised we had rain today, and I was like,
I know. When we came in early, I thought it was so we got a little bit drowned this morning coming in here. But so of course people move for sort of better quality of life. But of course, if they are selling up their house, I don't know, equivalent house they might be selling for $750 down there, and they're buying for $500 up here, so they can buy similar or larger property, put some money in their pocket, have a better quality life, and be working from home. So yes, that's been quite a big change. The other thing that I have noticed, and again talking to estate agents locally, people are upsizing their house. So if they were living in a 3-bedroom house, maybe if they're even locally, but they're now looking for a 4-bedroom house because they want an extra room for an office. So people are looking for an office space. So if we sort of people that like myself that sort of renovate properties, now we put more sockets in everywhere. There's put sockets in there. A lot of the sockets you put USB ports in them, because people are plugging stuff in all the time. So what people are looking for, they're looking for space to have an office. So maybe the spare bedroom, the small room, or can they convert the attic, or can they convert the garage or do something on the side there? They want to be working from home. The other thing is, as well, another big shift, of course, is that a lot of people have decided to work for themselves, start their own business. So they might be made redundant, had their wages cut, something's affected their work environment over the last sort of 18 months or so. So they now say, hey, I can work for myself. So what do I need? I want to work from home. I need a workspace to be able to do that.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I've seen that's quite a big shift indeed. Yes, yeah.
And if someone was looking to renovate a property, do you think there's anything they should look out for in terms of the utilities there?
I think the thing to do with that is just to check the services that are there, because what's on the agent's details, the agent doesn't necessarily always check it. So it's to to check what services going into the property. Obviously, you've either got sort of gas, electricity, telephone, and mains drainage. So it's just having a look and to see what's already there. Sometimes you can see it visibly because there's a phone socket and the lights work and all those sort of things. Some of the things I have are sort of oddities that I have come across in the past is if you're buying like an apartment in a block and it's sort of newish build, or sometimes a property on a new build estate. We were just talking about new build properties earlier. When they build those, they number the plots on the building plots. So you might have 1 to 10 or apartment 1 to 10, and they're named as plots. When they put the services in, and then the house or the apartment actually has its official number, they don't always relate to the plot numbers. Okay. So when the utilities were put in, it would be, say you've got 10 houses, plot 1 to 10. When they come to name the road, the actual physical number of the house might start the other way around. Okay. And so what happens is that sometimes you get a bill and it says number 10, which related to plot number 10, not necessarily to house number 10.
Oh, right.
And so the meters got moved out. And I've had a couple of those it doesn't happen that often, it's quite rare, but it does happen. And I just had it with a customer, had an apartment, and they thought, oh, the bills are not right. I'm sure I'm not getting the right bills here. and we switched them over to Utility Warehouse, and, they're quite happy and saving money. But they said, I'm not sure that this is the right usage.
Gosh,
so what we did
annoying.
is that we actually sort of checked the serial number on their meter against the serial number on their utility bill, and they didn't match.
Oh gosh.
So they're there. So we can change that round there as well. It's a little quirky thing, but once in a blue moon it does happen. But I think that's the other thing is just to sort of have a check and to see what's there. Again, if you're looking to looking to buy a property, quite happy to quote beforehand, and we can see what services are there. If you're quite new to property there and you're having a look, then it's always worthwhile bringing a surveyor to have a look and make
check
sure
everything out.
check and see the properties there, but also maybe a plumber or an electrician, because they can just do a very sort of quick check for you there. Because also you might say, well, I'm going to replace bits and pieces, but if you've got an electrician there, you can say, well, actually you've got to do more and more to make it all compliant. Usually it's electrics that need to be more compliant and brought up to standard. Plumbing is plumbing, but obviously you might need to put a new boiler in. If you're putting a new boiler in, again, another efficiency thing is to change the radiators as well, because if you've got old radiators, they get a bit all sludged and blocked up. And also the other good thing is to have your central heating system flushed through. Flushes all the sediment and the dirt, because that restricts the pipe, so it restricts the amount of hot water that's going around your heating system. So of course you're using more gas or oil or electricity. So one of the other thing there is as well, if you got a house there, have a look at again, it's a plumber can have a look there, but if you're going to change the boiler, then it's certainly worth changing the radiators and having the system flushed as well. It makes it more efficient. And again, you're going to use less energy to heat the property as well. Oh,
great. Well, that's been really useful. Thank you so much for all your time and for coming on with us today. It's been great.
Great, really
learn all
enjoyed
that
it.
stuff. I'm definitely going to take away some of that knowledge myself. But that's great. Thank you so much, Mark.
Thank you very much.
And for all you guys at home, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And thank you for joining us on today's Property Pod. And we will see you again next time. Goodbye.